Yes, traders, it's your boy the Fanny King. As usual, I'm always here for forex trading. Yeah, this is something I had to talk about. Today, early morning, it has just come to my observation that Fundingticks has closed. I remember we are trading funding pips, isn't it? We have funding pips as a prop firm, and then we have funding ticks as the features firm. You understand? They are two different platforms. However, they were all owned by one CEO. You understand? So recently, Mr. Khalid was able to inform the community that it was not his idea. It was not his idea as to the creation of Fundingticks as the feature farm. I don't know. I didn't want to go into details for the how the feature farms work because I had focused on the forex on the forex prop farms. However, I had to come up and talk about this because it was owned by one what? By one CEO, and somehow it was like it would affect the prop farms because we have been able to find that Mr. Khalid was getting some resources from the funding pips and then to facilitate the funding ticks. You understand? So I've been making my research on various platforms like Trustpilot, platforms like the Finance Magnets. I don't know whether you have ever heard about them, and very many other platforms. So I've come up with 5 major reasons as to why Fundingticks has closed, and each of these reasons has its own other explanations. Now, let me give you an example on the massive backlash from the rotative rule of changes. You know, people have been trading the funding ticks. They have been facing changing, like rules have been changing frequently. And they have been changing rules. Today, you see, they had a rule of 1 minute trading hold. You had to hold the trades for at least 1 minute, whereby this one could affect the scalpers. By the way, let me first inform you this that trading the features, they also use they are trading graphs the same way we trade on MT5. It is the same way they have been trading the features. You understand? So they have been facing that, especially for the what? For the scalpers. They have been facing that problem of they had to hold the trades for at least 1 minute. They had daily profits were very high. They had a minimum daily profit target. It was a bit high. You understand? Then they reduced their splits. They had a split over 90%. However, now they changed it to 80%. And then even they had stricter drawdowns. Their drawdowns were very tight. These are some of the reasons as to why we have seen Fundingticks closing. Am I making myself clear? I don't know. So you should know this thing is going to affect even some other features. And by the way, let us not forget that almost all feature firms, their liquidity provider is the same. So there is a lot of competition. And we all know that when Mr. Khalid enters any industry, most of the time he has to take the role over that industry. You understand? So I'm saying, according to research I've made, I've been able to notice that most of the complaints that we are raising out by people, they are the same that we are facing currently on the what? On the prop farm as well. So we should be very careful. There are very many prop farms outside there. I'm not trying to say that it is a bad farm. No, you can still use it because it pays. But there are other farms that pay. Farms like Alpha Capital, they will give you money with even fewer rules. They don't have a lot of rules. Farms like FX5, they will pay you. Farms like FTMO will give you money. 5% as is there. Audacity Capital, those are the ancient farms. So that reason, the massive backlash from the retractive rule changes was one of the reasons as to why Fundingticks has been able to close. So reason number two, there was a widespread complaint about payouts and account closures. So Fundingticks was, according to numerous reports on Trustpilot, you can be able to see that very many traders were being denied their payouts Fundingticks, quote me well, not funding pips. Fundingticks. They were denied payouts after reaching profit what? Targets. So those complaints, they have overloaded on Trustpilot. And then accounts, very many accounts were closed or breached for reasons like IP address rule. You can check out the video I made before this one. I talked about IP address rule. Even it is there. It is there, other videos when I'm talking about the IP address rule. However, on the features, it has been a bit more strict. So they had a system that was monitoring that, and it was very strict. So even if some traders insisted that they have not breached that rule, the system had already tracked them out, and they breached their what? Their account. So another complaint that was, they had a very slow support system. Their support system was not helpful enough to the traders, so it was not user friendly for the features what? For the features farms. So we can see reason number, remember I've talked about the backlash, the massive backlash of changing rules. We have the widespread complaints about payouts and what? Account closures. Then 3, we have what we call the questionable compliances enforcement. That's IP and automated rules. So there are those rules that even you have them in Propfirms. They are automated rules. When you just, like a drawdown, when you hit a drawdown, even if by $2 in a negative over that drawdown, the system will just have to trap you and they log you out. They close the trades automatically, you know. So such systems, so they were facing them in the features. Here we see that there was the shared IP address rule, or the VPN use cited as reasons for the account closure. Traders were being banned even after the explained circumstances. There was rules applied inconsistently or without prior warnings, you know. So this thing, by the way, I've got this one basically from Trustpilot. For that point, I've got it from Trustpilot. Very many traders were banned without even warnings. Others were they were breached because of IP address rules, VPN use. You know, I talked all about this. So you traders of Propfirms, you should be very careful, because this might come, because I've been able to see that, to notice that almost all Propfirms, they're addressing themselves to features. You understand? All the farms, most of the farms we know, they now have features. They also sell feature farms, you know. So you have to be very careful and observant. That's why I've never come here to talk about any feature farm. But today I was forced due to the threat you have been able to see. Remember, this is Fundingticks. Somehow, even funding pips, they might follow the same line. So that was a threat to Propfirm traders. I had to come and inform you earlier so that you should be very careful. So this man is trying to focus on funding pips because it has been a successful project so far. It has been there now for, this is I think the 4th year together. This is the 4th year where they are giving us a service. That's very good, you know. It's a very good reputation. They can't just spoil it over something or over being greedy upon something. So that's one of the reasons. Those are some of the reasons I can provide. There is the other one of the listing from Propfirm aggregators. Remember, they used to compare Fundingticks to Propfirm what? Platforms. So it has been delisted, and then that one became a threat. Are we together? Then we have what we call community statements that it feels closed. You know, very many traders we started to denounce it. Some influencers started to complain about it, and they informed that they are no longer using it. So that one affected Fundingticks. Remember, they had rules changing too frequently. Accounts are closed without recourses. They have profit withdrawals, get blocked, trust, very many things. So for traders outside there, you should be very careful. However, in conclusion, Funding Pips has been able to refund all traders who were using Fundingticks. Now that makes it something different. He can never go with anyone's money. He has been able to refund all traders. It's your boy, the Father the King. For anything, guys, I remain FK. Consult. Tap my YouTube channel is there. It's your boy FK. Tap the link in my bio for any consultations. I say now.